Hello, I'm back to one. My name is Beast, and I'm goddamn exploding. Context. I still had like half of the fucking, what are they called? Forget. Hold on. Fuck. Panko, that's what it's called. And I like still half of a bag of panko breadcrumbs left after last time I made the katsu, so I decided, you know what, fuck it. While they're still good, let's make another one. So this time it was actually chicken. I didn't take a photo this time, so you don't get to see it. However, I ate like 4 out of the 5 pieces with rice, and I am about to fucking explode. Anyways, let's just get on with it. I want to end this part. It's rather sudden. Whoops. The teacher looks around the room and coughs and solemnly says, the commotion of the classroom ensues. The teacher claps his hands to settle the class down. Then he looks at Ruuko and says, Ruuko nods, raises her hand, and then says, ambiguous as always. However, I somehow understood what you wanted to say. And whether the teacher understood, or whether he had his own intense response to the transfer student's keyword, he nods and starts weeping. Teacher claps unashamedly. Everyone in the class also claps, following his lead. Then, this marked the end of the self-styled alien Ruuko Kirenosora's Earth Exchange study. That marked the coming of the end of my regular, usual days, too. Today's Saturday, so classes are only half day. It soon became the dismissal time. My days spent with Ruuko at school were all said and end. Finally, Ruuko was returning to Ru. However, when homeroom ended, I was assailed with an indescribable and easy feeling. Despite how much I wished that she could return to Ru, that was no longer how I truly felt now. The more I struggled to try to return Ruuko home, the more I conversely felt closer to her. I wanted to go. That's how I feel now, but there's no way I could say that. If, after I'm finally able to get Ruuko to return home, I've suddenly tried to stop her, not only will it be troubling, she wouldn't allow it. Of course, my inability to say those words was driven by logic rather than emotion. They weren't my true feelings. I also knew that it was a slightly wise thing to hide it by smiling with servility. But what if doing that made Ruuko unhappy? I was also afraid of that. Ruuko's not an inhabitant of this world, so Ruuko's true happiness isn't here. I was well aware of that. Huh? Yuji. Yeah, what? Not at all. I didn't even realize Yuji was standing next to me. Thinking carefully, Yuji did say he had something to tell me. I didn't remotely care. So if he said that there was an abduction, I'd probably believe him. Realizing my state from my expression, Yuji says to me slightly miffed. Farewell party? For who? Yuji asks. I'm finally brought back by Yuji's words. My mind and body finally converge. Something like that. Yuji lets out a big sigh. It's not like I don't want her to return. I constantly raise my voice. My words start spilling out and I frantically try to hold them in. However, now this was nothing more than me getting flustered by him being spot on. Regardless of what I say now, it's obvious to Yuji. Yuji frowns at me. If you already knew yourself, don't make me spill everything. I won't, I declare emphatically. I want her to go is the last thing I'll say. Even if that's just my wish and my selfishness, supposing that Ruuko doesn't hear it. It's clear that's where my feelings immediately go to. I'll draw my last line of defense right here and make my stand. I worked hard to return Ruuko to Ru, so she'll go home undeterred. Yuji scratches his head as though he can't accept it. Well, here's the thing. Give her a choice. Like right now, it is essentially she is going home. Like, no and ifs or buts about it. However, there is nothing wrong with saying that while I did do my best to let you go home, I personally would still want to live with you to the end of my life. So if you do wish to remain here, I will agree with open arms. However, I will not stop you either. Essentially make it clear that while you do love her, you are entirely in favor of her choosing her happiness on her own planet instead of her happiness on Earth. Anyways.
それってマジ正しいのか?
So should I stop her? To devalue everything until now?
そうじゃなくてな.
However, I don't feel like explaining each and everything. He says to me a little casually.
まあ、ルーコちゃんと一緒に宇宙に行くなら何の問題もないか.
Idiot! And constantly grab Yuji by the scruff of the neck and pull him close. Idiot! As if I could do that! But Yuji just guffaws and casually says.
どうしてルーコちゃんにお願いすりゃいいじゃんか. きっと連れてってくれるぞ.
Can't do that.
行ってみないで決めつけることもないだろう. まさかお前が信じてないんじゃないだろうな、ルーコちゃんのこと.
Of course I trust her.
ならいいじゃねえか。いろいろ難しいのは想像つくけどさ、国際結婚なんだし。でもさ。
Then Yuji grins broadly and says.
追いかけろよ。好きなら。
I can't get there by bullet train.
じゃあなおさらだ。新幹線でも飛行機でも行けないところにもう一生会えないかもしれないぞ。
Let go of Yuji. Yuji's words stabbed me in the heart. That's what it felt like.
深く考えるなよ。シンプルに行けよ。まあさすがに俺もお前の親父やお袋にうまく言ってやれる自信はないけどさ。
Yuji fixes his collar and without waiting for my answer grabs his bag and prepares to leave.
とにかく彼女にはお前から言っておけよ。明日お前ん家で送別会するからな。
I get it. But I could only half hear what Yuji was saying.
決心ついたら教えろよ。垂れ幕にお前の名前も入れてやるから。
Yuji says and leaves the rooftop. I might be able to substitute that for Ruko's happiness. If she has to return, I could follow her. What the heck? It sounds simple and might just be a good idea. I'm left alone on the rooftop. I look up at the sky. The sky where Ruko's returning to. Honestly, I'm probably scared. The end of the universe isn't scary. What's scary is abandoning all of it. The daily routine I have now in the world. I have to choose one. So that's how it is. Which one? When I return to the classroom, Ruko is still there. Perhaps she's waiting for me. I call out that familiar name. Ruko! Ruko notices me immediately and turns my way. But I only now notice my own carelessness in that instant. Ruko looks at my half-cramping expression dubiously. No, but what do I do? I haven't decided on anything yet. Can't very well say take me with you to the universe here. Well, if she stares at me like that, nothing's gonna come out of my mouth. Take a deep breath and decide to do a warm-up. Shall we go home together? Half at a loss, I walk down the hill with Ruko. There is no discussion between us. Is it because of that? Being with Ruko is so agonizing. That is a big sigh. Ruko looks at my expression questioningly. It's not like that. I frankly deny it. But it's just... I can't touch on it after all. Once more I sigh and search for the words. My legs won't move. The words are so simple yet it feels like I'm jumping from a high place. I give myself some more time. I decide and think of something else to discuss. But that's right, Ruko. We decided that we'd have a farewell party. Yuji and the others said that'd be a good idea. 25th. It's okay if Sasamori isn't right.
ルーの帰還を祝ってくれるなら拒否する理由はない。むしろ礼を言うぞ。
And I'll tell everyone. I say, then take a deep breath and at the slightly tense atmosphere. But Ruko keeps staring at me. What? She's uneasy. Look again at Ruko.
祝ってくれるのか？ルーが帰ることを。
Huh? Yeah, of course. I've worked so hard to give you the possibility to return, Ruko. Having been asked that, I say the words that I wrote down somewhere in my head. I'm pleased, truly.
そうか。
But Ruko hangs her head and looks away. Of course, I'm sad. Just when I thought I was getting along with you, you're already leaving. Besides, I feel like I didn't do anything for you in the end. Kata and I tried so desperately, but when the message came that they were coming for Ruko, there was no proof that was related to our actions. I hesitate to say it in front of everyone that everything was coincidental. There is that possibility. My wish was probably due to me just being selfish and conceited. However, Ruko, I say and looked at Ruko. Why don't we go on a date now?
デート
I want to make memories. Precious memories of just the two of us. Without deception, I tell her my true feelings. Whatever shall come, I want it to be the final memories of Ruko on this earth. Now, I'm fumbling my words. Wait patiently for Ruko's answer. And Ruko says while slightly looking down.
ルーも作りたいぞ。思い出。
Ruko smiles gently. Her cheeks relax, following her lead. Where should we go? Anywhere's fine. Anywhere at
ど
all.
こでもいいのか
Of course.
なら、
Big bunny. Just realized that my webcam's off. Amusement park.
ネズミーランドの方が良かったか
Nah, that's not what I mean. I went to a normal choice for Ruko. It was just my biased
なら
view.
さっさと楽しめ。
Yeah. I followed Ruko, who pulled me along into the amusement park. Being Saturday, the amusement park is fairly crowded. But it doesn't look like we'll wait that long no matter what we decide to ride. Ruko initially looks all around, but as usual, her expression is difficult to read. Oops. It looks like she is evaluating the value of things rather than being genuinely interested in them. As Ruko we're talking about, so I don't really know. But there's possibilities of following things according to a manual. For now, I decided to ask Ruko opinion. What do you want to ride? After being asked that question, Ruko surveys the surroundings. Then she suddenly points to one of the rides. The roller coaster. It's one of the rides that stands out the most from here. However, sure? That's probably a yes. But I'm not sure. I would not know. Not from that expression. There is a however. If I don't know, then I do want to know. Based on my own experiences. Alright, let's ride it together then. Ruko and I head over to the roller coaster ride. The roller coaster isn't very crowded, but as soon as it returns, we'll be able to get in. Ruko and I board the cart. We load a safety bar, ready to embark. She asks me who's sitting
こ
beside
れ
her.
はなんだ
She doesn't know what the ride is after
電
all.
車にしては妙だな。
As she says that, the cart starts picking up speed and climbing. You know, this is the moment I begin to explain. The need to do so disappeared. Ah! The roller coaster ride ends. Ruko gets off the ride a little lightheaded. Don't you have these on the Roo?
は不思議の星だ。
Ruko says a little
ル
disgusted.
ーではあんな拷問器具を使わなくても勇気を試せる日々の生活に結びついているからだ。でも
So. Ruko says to me
そん
quietly.
なところが嫌いではなかったぞ。
Thank goodness. Saying goodbye without liking it is a little sad.
本当に不思議の星だ。喧嘩ばかりしている星だが、なぜか最後には肩入れしてしまう。この星に来た者は皆そうだ。罪を負っても守りたくなる。あの銀河連盟の3人組の調査員さえ最後に望んだのは。
Ruko says that much and then holds her tongue for some reason. That expression was somewhat sad, as though she's loath to part with the earth. And that wasn't the only thing I felt. What's wrong? Asked Ruko, worried.
いや、なんでもないぞ。
Ruko seems to come back to her senses following my question. However, she's probably noticed that I was looking at her with a worried expression. Ruko says lightheartedly to blow that away.
そんなことより次に行くぞ。
Next.
次はあれだ。
What Ruko points to next, it's the merry-go-round. Look at Ruko with a slight twitch of my
一緒
cheek.
に乗れ。
Together! How can one do such an embarrassing thing at this age? Can you, Ruko? Then, seemingly enjoying my fliss, she corners me with,
怖いのか？育児なしめ。
No, that's not the
ルー
issue.
の学会ではダメダメのプーだと発表するぞ。
In other words, if I refuse, Earthlings will be known as useless poo throughout the galaxy. That's okay! If Earth's dignity is at stake, how can I refuse? Same attitude, Ruko says, satisfied. He says, and what he points to are the cup ride and the monkey train. And other rides just like those. Ruko, do you get enjoyment out of embarrassing me? Okay. I shall escort you, princess. Say half-heartedly. Well, today was all for Ruko's pleasure. After Ruko returns, the experience and emotion will no longer be possible. Surely disparagement will make memories. I'd like to hope. I head to the merry-go-round as pressed by Ruko. By the way, you wanna fucking bet that there's gonna be she actually is gonna go home and he's gonna stay behind. However, he's literally gonna start regretting it within one day. And it's just gonna be like maybe like a day or a few days that they are time skipped, where he's essentially in constant fucking depression and suffering because of he regrets his decision. And suddenly Ruko just comes down because they were still surveying essentially. Time passes in the blink of an eye. I wanted to stay at the amusement park forever, but that's not possible. Half reluctantly, Ruko and I head home. However, on the way, Ruko bought something unusual outside the station. Hamburger. Right, what Ruko bought, which she complained bitterly about when we first met, was that hamburger. For a gourmet who knows all the eateries in town, it's not like her to decide on such a food choice. Naturally, I find it odd. What are they doing? Don't you hate them? However, what she bought was definitely a burger from that shop. And Ruko says emphatically. That's true. What does that mean? It's almost dinner time. Furthermore, thanks to Ruko, the meal situation at home hasn't been bad at all lately. What was she trying to achieve from buying that? Ruko doesn't respond. Or doesn't want to answer? Or... Anyway, all I can do is follow her now. Ruko deviates from the route home. This direction as it... For long we arrived at the place I expected to. Park. This is... The park. Right, the park where Ruko lives. However, Ruko was now living at my house and no longer came to this park. Why'd you come here now? Ruko raised her arms and ruse. Ruko is calling someone, but her ruse is named the sky. I wonder if... I patiently examine all my surroundings, and there's a rustling from nearby shrubs. Ruko turns towards the shrubs. What appears from the shadow of the bushes is... Tama! Tabby, I mean.
Yeah.
It was Ruko's third acquaintance, her cat friend. The cat comes to her feet and rubs up against her while purring, looking extremely happy. Ruko crouches and opens the wrapping of the hamburger she brought. I see. She's parting from him too. Ruko gently pats the cat's head, but presumably valuing the food more than Ruko's words, he meows happily. Ruko. It was like she'd disappear any time now. Although I knew tomorrow was the day of her departure, I have to stop her now. I hug Ruko from behind. Where to next? Just say the word. I'll go to the end of the universe with you. That was how I honestly felt. I don't want to be parted from Ruko. I don't care what else I lose as long as it isn't Ruko. I transmit that emotion through my arms. However, Ruko says nothing. I'm sure she'll answer. At least I thought so. Is it not allowed for Ruuko to feel this way? Then why? Ruko still doesn't answer. The only thing was that I sensed a heavy atmosphere from Ruko. Let me happier. Don't make that face, otherwise I don't want to let you go back to Ru. I thought giving you the possibility of going back to Ru was the best, so that's what I did. Don't make me regret that. I'm troubled. But Ruko doesn't say anything. She doesn't want us to be departed. She also doesn't want to return, yet she also wants to return soon. She wants to see your parents as soon as possible, something along those lines. The unease in my heart grows. Ruko's returning home, so I'll never see her again. That unease is present, and yet one more concern grows within me. Don't tell me. Am I hiding something? When I say that, I can feel Ruko tensing up from her back through my arms. What are you hiding, Ruko? I patiently wait for Ruko's answer. I try to hug her, to convey my feelings through my arms that are hugging her. Then, presumably sensing my emotions, Ruko answers hesitantly.
ルーはルーパパとルーママのところに帰らない。
Not returning? What does that mean? Aren't they coming from Ru
ル
for
ー
her?
には帰る。だけどそれは裁きを受けるためだ。
Judgment. Sense some ominous in that word.
掟を破ったこと許されたわけじゃないんだぞ。
Ruko's words bring before me a fact which I'd forgotten. Then,
安心しろ。首は切られない。でも
but
ルーがルーでいられるのかわからない。
Ruko can't be Ruko. What does that mean? I don't get it. However, after Ruko leaves here, everything will be lost. That's the only thing I know. I hug Ruko with all my might and shout, "That's gotta be the case. I have no intention of letting you go back." But Ruko trembles in my
ダ
arms.
メだ。かくまえばウーにも迷惑がかかる。ウーの心が失われるぞ。
My soul.
ウーがそんなことをすればウーを排除するためにきっとそれくらいのことをする。
I don't
ウー
care.
はウーがウーの心をなくしたら本当のことはどこにもなくなる。ウーこそがルーがいた証だ。
But if I lose you, Ruko,
だから覚えていろ。ずっとだぞ。
I sensed in her words that there was no way to change that fate. I hug Ruko tightly. Ruko yields herself to
ウ
me.
ーに会うためならルーはウーでもよかったぞ。
Then I won't say goodbye. We continued hugging Ruko more and more. Sun has set and returned to our home. Okay, the music certainly worries me. There's very little time remaining. No matter how much we wish it, Ruko has no more than a small amount of time left. She'll definitely disappear tomorrow night. This will probably be our last night together. So I decide that my last request, which I want granted, will be... It doesn't really rely on the power of Ru. There's a request that one grants themselves. I want to remember absolutely everything about Ruko with the remaining happenings we have left. That's why they requested. Ruko was the same. Ruko sensed it without me putting it in words. Ruko and I both knew how we felt without voicing it. We stare in each other's eyes, join hands, and move to the bed. Then I undo the buttons on Ruko's clothes and hug her tightly from behind.
ルー
Okay, it's already started. See you after the H scene. Alright, they appear to be done. Then, the next day,
起きろ。
she is
ルー
confirmed clothed.
もう昼だぞ。
I'm woken up by Ruko, who virtually kicked me out of bed. But I had to slowly get up. Morning. I could reach her and let out a
ひ
huge
どい顔
yawn.
だぞ。風呂に入れ。みんなは昼過ぎには来るぞ。そ
Yeah,
れとも一緒に入るか。昨日の続きをしてやるぞ。
I blushed from head to toe at Ruko's incredibly frank
も
comment.
う慣れたと思ったが。いつまでもウブだな。ウー。
You're far too comfortable
付
with
き
it.
合ってるのだ。だから当然のことをしている。恥ずかしがる理由などどこにもない。
I'm a bit jealous of how Ruko arrives at such clear
どうする？
answers.
早くしないと。
As soon as Ruko says that, the
ど
doorbell
うやら
rings.
気の早いウーがいたようだ。
Oh, I breathe a sigh of relief. It's not like it's a shame by any stretch, but, well, I was just caught off guard. I guess I still don't have anywhere near enough courage in this area.
ウーがいいならルーは気にしてないが。
Yes, please, don't mind. Well, anyway. Kotomi came first after her dominated with Yuji and bringing things they bought for the farewell party. Just the preparations were complete, Karin, Sango, and her sister appear and the farewell party begins.
いよいよルーマニアに帰っちゃうんだ。ルー。
だから違うでしょ、好み。
そうだっけ？
あれから100回は説明してるのに、どうして好みだけ分かってないの？
Even now, Kotomi seems too biased in her information. Nah, there's a good chance that she was just ditzy from the start.
まあまあ固いこと抜きにして飲もうぜ。
Just don't bring out any cola.
このハンバーガーはうまいぞ。うちのお母さん特製。本場の人に喜んでもらえてよかった。
I don't think hamburgers came from Romania, Kotomi.
あなあさんちゃん、これって何の集まりなん？
Sango's younger twin sister, Ruri, asks about this odd gathering.
宇宙人。あうー、さんちゃんの意地悪。
What's wrong?
ルリちゃん、解剖されると思ってるね。
Sango, I wish you wouldn't cause misunderstandings by disseminating such a harmful image.
つまらんな。
The banquet gets underway, and it's a suitable time to start finding people's hidden talents. Someone taps me on the shoulder. Yuji. Yuji looks at me with a slightly serious look. When I give him a suspicious look, Yuji quietly and simply asks me. That's all Yuji says, but I knew what he meant. So I replied to Yuji without losing my composure, I'm sure.
いいのか？これが最後かも。
It's not the end. I promise. We'll meet again for sure.
そっか。
Yuji says and shrugs his shoulders, then says nothing more. Somehow I get the feeling Yuji saw through everything. But after that, he neither kicked me nor consoled me further. Seeing Yuji looking like he's not going to ask further, for me, it's, well, I probably know it's for the best for the both of us. Banquet is in full swing. Kana gets up holding a digital camera.
ねえねえ、せっかくだし、記念写真撮らない？
Photo. You want to submit it to New?
したいところだけど、さすがのヌーも信じてくれないか
Cotton says, smiling.
な。もっと演出しないと。
You always do?
今回はただの記念写真。次来るときはちゃんとアダムスキー型に乗ってきてほしいな。
Cotton says, and has everyone gather with Ruko in the middle.
タカちゃん、ほらほら、肩抱いて。
Hey!
チーズ。バイバイ。
That better be CG or just shown in a picture frame after the ending credits.
それじゃあ片付けしましょうか。
Don't worry, I can do that.
遠慮することないじゃない。ルーコちゃんと何しようと邪魔しないから。
Tamane. Jeez, Tamane. Cotton, Sango, and her sister have gone home, but Tamane, Yuji, and Konami are still here to help tidy up. Even after finishing the cleanup, they stay, presumably to see Ruko off. Come to think of it, everyone used to often stay over long ago.
迎えが来る時間にはまだ間があるな。
じゃあ私たちは下のリビングで待機してましょうか。
タカ君やルーコさんは？
野暮なことしないの。ほらこっちに来なさい。
She is big confused. Tamane drags the unwitting Konami down the stairs.
じゃ、俺たちは下にいるから。
Yeah.
仮眠取ってたら起こせよな。
Yuji parts with that and goes down the stairs. The only ones left in the room are Ruko and myself. Still can get used to this relationship. Presumably perceiving that from me, Ruko says to
一
me.
緒に寝るか？
Isn't that too direct? I'm flustered at Ruko's clear request. However, Ruko looks at me and cocks her head strangely.
何を想像してる？寝るだけだぞ。
Is that what you meant? Crap. Yeah, there's no time.
これで最後だ。ちゃんとウーのことを感じていたい。匂いも感触も皆。
There's only a little time left. If we talk to each other, we wouldn't finish the discussion, so we're better off feeling each other's presence.
でもウーがしたいならそれでもいいぞ。
Look at that smile. But you quit it. Our final memory, well, it'll be washed away simply by youthful indiscretion.
そうか？愛し合ってるならそれはそれで美しいと思うぞ。
Well, however. Anyways, let's spend our last moments together with me feeling your presence just by sleeping with me. But make sure to wake me.
大丈夫だ。その時が来れば自然とわかる。ルートはそういうものだ。
Ruko and I climb into bed, remaining dressed. Ruko has her back to me, not looking at me. Feel Ruko's presence in the futon. She's still here. Ruko's in my arms. I hug Ruko, waiting for that time to come. In the middle of the night, I suddenly wake up. Mind isn't clear, but I woke up somehow. I knew something, nothing else. That's how it felt. Something was lacking. They're strangely lighter. My body and soul. What is it? Something's lacking. Fumble around looking for it. What's missing is... I noticed a large vacant space beside me. Ruuko! Leap up from the bed and search for Ruuko. But she's not in the room. Nah, there's something more prominent than that. This room, it's incredibly... No, the world is incredibly quiet. As though I'm in a soundless, colourless existence. A completely monotone world. Ruuko! She left. But she promised. Could I think of it? What about Yuji and the others? Frantically run down the stairs. Go to me! Damane! Yuji! No one's here. Look around, searching for everyone. It was at that moment. A beam of light shone outside the window, a shooting star. Huh? I hear a voice behind me. I slowly turn to that voice. Standing there is Ruuko. I had to say something. I know that, but there's nothing I can say. That must be because this would make it all fake. If I speak, everything will end. I knew that. Ruuko, I know that I can't let her see me like this. The corner of my eyes just get hot.
楽しかった。うーになってもいいくらい楽しかった。
Do you really have to go? Is this the end? Those words. I knew they were full of my regret and stubbornness, but I couldn't bear it and set them. Even though I knew that those words would torment Ruuko and not resolve anything. Ruuko does not respond. At that moment, Ruuko's reaction is to gently hug me. Ruuko's gentleness causes stabbing pain in my heart. Given this, if you hadn't met me, would you have been happy, Ruuko? However, Ruuko shakes her head at my question.
誰とも出会わず無意に過ごすルーに何の価値がある？
But if you hadn't met me, you wouldn't have used the power of Ru 4 times. The power 4 times, Ruuko.
それでもウーとの出会いは宝だ。ウーとの出会い、過ごした時間、それが全てだ。たとえその後がなくても。何も言うな。ルーとの出会いを喜べ。ルーとの時間を無駄にするな。でないとルーこそウーを不幸にしたことになる。
Ruuko lets go of me, stands before the window.
何事も永遠じゃない。ウーとルーの場合はそれがほんの少し短かっただけだ。45光年。
Ruuko says quietly.
45光年離れていてもルーとウーの心はつながってる。あらゆる物理法則を超えて二人は一つだ。
Ruuko, let's take a step towards Ruuko. At that moment, a beam of white light flows from the window onto me.
さよならだ。
Ruuko dissolves into the light. I take another step into the light to block it. Ruuko, I desperately reach my arms out. Then I'm brought back to consciousness by the streaming light and vacantly sit up. Morning. Slowly look around me. Stumble away to the window an instant. I look and see Tamane and the others sleeping on the sofas. Was it a dream? Perhaps you went to sleep early last night, but Kotomi unusually wakes up first and gets up from the sofa. Morning. Greet her as though nothing happened. Kotomi looks restlessly around and notices one person missing. Ruuko, without checking, I quietly answer. But returned home during the night. Was last night a dream or not? No doubt if I asked the whole neighborhood, no one saw a thing. The only thing I knew was that Ruuko was no longer here. That was the only truth. Yuji and the others returned home, and after preparing my things, going to school, Karan was waiting there. What is it? Asking Karan as if nothing else happened. I asked Karan as if nothing else happened. Then Karan shows me something she's holding. Yes, look at what's in Karan's hand. Was that metal plate?
財布の中に入ってたんよ。アルミでもないし、ステンレスでもないし、チタンでもないし。一体何なのかな?
I chuckle and tell Karan, "That must be a pass to the sacred planet of Deneb." Karan is boggled at my answer. Congratulations, Sasimoto, you've been honored.
もう、からかわないでよね。
Even she can't believe it, given the extraordinary nature of it. However, Karan doesn't get angry and fingers the metal plate again, saying,
でも、いっか、ミステリーっぽいアイテムだし。
Karanez then puts the plate into her pocket. I skip morning classes and head to the rooftop. Skies are clear as far as the eye can see. I turn towards Ursa Major and look up the sky. This end is like a fairy tale. The metal plate cut in holes is all that's left. However, all that's left to me are memories. Not a single physical object was left for me. But for me, because there are just those memories, it was a fact that nothing could change. Even if the truth of Ruuko was just an illusion, the fact that I met Ruuko, the fact that I spent time with Ruuko, and the fact that I loved Ruuko, everything was real and true for me. A certain truth that went beyond all the laws of this world. An absolute memory in my heart. Even if it wasn't a certainty, I could believe it. I don't doubt my own memories. I know to never erase the truth that I loved Ruuko.
信じろ。
It's auto scroll. I'll believe forever and ever that Ruuko was absolutely real. For as long as my memory serves me, I'll believe that Ruuko was here. It will never disappear from this world. Forever. I wonder how many days have passed since Ruuko left. Still, even though years had not passed since then, were they taking me into consideration? Or had they forgotten? No one spoke about Ruuko anymore. Having been in this world for far too short a time, Ruuko occasionally seemed like an illusion. Yet I absolutely still remember Ruuko, hugging her and kissing her and everything. But it probably doesn't really matter. Whether the world acknowledges her existence or not, as long as I remember her, that's fine. I'm home. That day I had business to attend to, so having returned home a little late, I hear the sound of systematic chopping from the kitchen. Said, "You go to me?" Strange. Like queen of clumsy to be cooking food. I don't know what dreadful meal she'd be feeding me. However, it's us. No response. Doing gross and cooking. Hey, go to me. Go out to the kitchen again. That a voice I've heard someone before
好み
answers.
じゃないぞ。
For a moment, I have no idea what's going on. However, I soon come to my senses and look at the person who's occupying the kitchen. Standing there is... Look at Housewife Rue. Also, is that hanging on the wall there? Because either that's hanging on the wall, or she is holding this pot one-handed. Ah!
何を突っ立ってる。手を洗ってこい。食事だ。はばい菌に弱いのだ。殺菌しない手で食事すると死ぬぞ。
Ruuko was wearing an apron and standing right before my eyes, looking all too familiar with my kitchen. Ruuko! I raised my voice in surprise, so loud I could fall over. However, Ruuko says to me
違う
suddenly,
ぞ。ルーはルーコじゃない。ルーシー・マリア・ミソラだ。
Huh? Lucy Maria Misora. Not Ruuko. I stare at Ruuko. I mean, Lucy, as she calls herself, and look at her. And looking at her, I can't see anything to tell her apart from Ruuko. So, you're
ル
Ruuko.
ーシーだ。
So, Ruuko.
ルーシ
So, out. Unable to stomach me endlessly calling her Ruuko and denying the name she introduces herself with, Ruuko bobs me on the head with her fist. Reeling from the pain, I stumble into the living room. She's really not Ruuko. Ruuko looks down on me and introduces
ー。忘れ
herself.
たか？ルーの名前はルーシー・マリア・ミソラ。アメリカ・カリフォルニア州出身。父は弁護士。母は自然保護活動家。
Huh. I've heard this somewhere before. However, Lucy seems oblivious to my querying looks and continues her
星を
introduction.
見るのとサンマの開きが好きなちょっとおしゃまな女の子だ。だから今日からここに住んでやる。
Eh?
忘れたか？ルーはの言い名付けだぞ。
Yeah, did this girl just say something
ル
sounding?
ーはのお嫁さんだ。親同士が決めたこととはいえ、ルーはずっとそのつもりだったぞ。
But saying that all
安
of a
心しろ。
sudden...
今日からのことはパパもママも了承済みだ。が干からびないようにしてほしいと頼まれた。
Before he goes stale. No way. Was that upset behind the scenes so suddenly? Was that set up behind the scenes so
何
suddenly?
を驚く。室内で大声を出すな。 だからウーは野蛮人なのだ。
But
重
not
要な
that.
ことだ。さっさと大人になれ。ウー、世界政府を樹立しなければ宇宙大航海時代は来ないぞ。
Such theatrical elocution of megalomania. One could only think that way as it's coming from Ruko. I don't care about such a faraway world, so let's talk about something simpler. Ruko cocks her head while holding the saucepan. Don't you remember? Like when it trampled you under the cherry trees, or made you eat the bright plum, or how you saved me when I fell into the river. I count off the experience I had with Ruko. Ruko would definitely remember. Ruko doesn't answer. Wearily I ask her, don't you remember anything? Then Lucy was boggling, smiles slightly and
覚え
says,
てる。
and
一
why?
緒に四つ葉のクローバーを探したことも、別れの時にウーが泣きそうになったことも、ウーを抱きしめて慰めてやったことも、キスしてやったことも。
Even if we're separated by 45 light years, that our hearts are one too.
そうだ、覚えてるぞ。
So, she is Ruko. Ruko has returned. Let's move close towards Ruko and attempt to embrace her. But Ruko looks at me with distant
ま
eyes
だ
and
小
says,
さかった頃の思い出だ。
a brief moment of time. The body tenses at
み
those
んな
words.
覚えてる。嬉しいぞ。ルーのこと、ちゃんと覚えてくれていて。
Ruko smiles at me, but I'm about to collapse. Then what? Is that one more than a series of memories constructed from childhood days? Did I suddenly fall asleep and mix up my memories with reality? Really? Really, Lucy, you're Ruko, aren't
だ
you?
からルーコって誰だ？まさかルーがいない間に浮気していたのか？
He doesn't remember. The most obvious thing of all to remember. Even Ruko, no Lucy, notices my despondency. With sad eyes, Lucy
嫌い
asks
になっ
me,
たのか？ルーのこと、ルーはここに来てはいけなかったのか？
No, that's not it. Even if Lucy isn't Ruko, if there's a different person who came, I can't turn her down. And yet, I tell her quietly. Previously, I used to call Lucy Ruko. That's what it feels like. However, Ruko shakes her head slightly to my
覚え
comment.
てない。きっとウーの記憶違いだ。
She did say that she would specifically be not made not Uru anymore, and mentioned that if he were to interfere, they would literally like get rid of his soul. So there is a possibility that her punishment was literally just psychotherapy to make sure she forgets she was ever a member of the Uru planet. And since she already had these convenience experiences on Earth, they just put her there with that kind of psychotherapy to make her this new person. That's so. Between my cloud of memory and reality, which one was true in the end? My memory's wrong. Was that? Was that it? Although the person in my memories is here, I was not embracing her. However, Lucy smiles at me and
でも
says,
ルーコという呼び名は嫌いじゃないぞ。ルーが忘れていただけかもしれない。そんな気もしないでもない。だから
Ruko smiled at me and
特
Ru's.
別にウーにはルーコと呼ばれてやろう。
Ruko.
そうだ。ルーがルーコだ。
Finally, at that moment, I felt some snap into place. It was like two disconnected objects that were meant to be together, had stacked perfectly on top of each other. See, is that all that it was? I gently touched Ruko's cheek. She hasn't changed. Nothing has changed. Anything and everything about her was the same Ruko from before. This was the very Ruko
ウ
from my
ーは
memory.
寂しがり屋だな。あの頃から何も変わってないぞ。
And was that time? I asked her, holding her back, tears of joy. Ruko holds
ず
my
っと
hand.
昔だ。
Such a certain memory may have become unclear before I knew it, but the girl before me was absolutely the girl who called herself Ruko. I've lost a lot. I'm so happy. The most precious thing I hold is here in my hands. Compared to that, dreams and memories are meaningless. If the reality of both of us embracing exists, then what begins the hereafter is the new memory of now. That was a nice one. I probably could have put this in last part, quite frankly, but hey, it's convenient considering I have to work at 11 a.m. tomorrow, so. Now then, you should be aware of what route comes next. The twins. I mean, what's left after the twins? After, like... We've done Konami, we've done Sasara, we've done Manaka, we've done Yuma, we've done Yuji's bad end, technically. And now we've done Lucy. The only routes left are Yuki's, Tamaka's, and the twins. Well, the twins, Yuki, Tamaka, and Karen. Well, meant to say. Stupid. Actually, going for Yuki's ending should be easy enough. It says load from slot 5, which is a Manaka end save slot. Actually, now that I look at it, Lucy ends, save and reload for CG. There was no choice there. Anyways, so yeah. Like that, we're done with that one, and next time we're gonna be loading from here, right? Yes, from here. Let me just save that onto here, just so we pick the right save, confirmed. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a bottle of talking aside. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you next time. Bye bye.